Hello and welcome back to Rage Gaming and more Monster Hunter talk. Of course, it's time to update the monster list. It's been actually about a month since last time, so we have quite a lot of stuff to talk about. And we'll begin with what we were shown in Trailer 6 first. Hirabami, which is a new Leviathan type that is fully flying. And here's the official description of it. A Leviathan that inhabits the new locale Ice Shard Cliffs. Razor sharp claws at its tail and a wind-catching membrane on its neck allow it to float, making the Hirabami a uniquely dangerous foe. You'll also note from the gameplay that it uses frost, in this case using it to freeze the hunter. And using that membrane, it kind of floats around like a kite, spinning aggressively for some more physical attacks. Catching this one is going to be tough, but based on that description, I'm thinking if you break the membrane, maybe its flight gets hindered in some way. Also, this is the monster that finally reveals the Switch axe set. The same purple, the same elegant feel to it. I think it's very safe to say that that is indeed the Hirabami set. So, no crab or insectoid type, though I guess it is kind of like a flying centipede in its own way. Next for new monster reveals then, we have the Ice Shard Cliffs Apex Predator? I say that because as of right now, we don't know what that is. Not too dissimilar to what we see with Hirabami's torso as it were, but is obviously massive. It's looming over the edge of the cliffside, so it could be a lot bigger than what we're actually seeing there. Obviously it's the dominant monster here because it screams at 3 Hirabami at once since they're like a pack monster, and then blasts them with a huge AoE of frost. As we know, confirmed by the devs, each Apex Predator has its own elemental theme tied to the locale, so this monster to be the Apex would need to be related to frost and ice, and it literally uses this massive ice blast, so it does kind of fit the bill. People do associate this though with the Monster Hunter 6 Wilds logo, since there are 2 creatures that are kind of serpentine in design, and you know what? This Apex monster is one of the first that kind of matches that bill. Maybe it's a bit more important than just an Apex Predator. And those were the only new monsters shown in Trailer 6. But of course, it's not the only monsters revealed. We have 3 returning monsters to talk about. Firstly, let's talk about Nerscylla. It was revealed in what appears to be its nest in a very webbed up location. Crawling along the ceiling, rushing at you, swinging from the top to slam down, going under into the webbed ground to ambush you from below. We get a look at the familiar mandibles that come out and they're really long. We also get a look at what might be its very unique turf war, with of course Gypsyros, who is being webbed up in a horrifying scene, but it does flash off Nerscylla, at least briefly. I don't think that's going to go down so well. But, you know, it has been redesigned a little bit. The legs are closer to the body now. The spikes that would protrude from the legs themselves are now more tufts of hair. It is hairier in general, actually. And another detail to note is that it's way more spiky. The purple crystals now are on the back of the creature, as well as the crystals that are on the sack as well, all the way at the other end. So, minor changes, but cool redesign stuff. Before we move on though, we do need to acknowledge what might be a new small monster. Entirely new for the series, but associated potentially with Nerscylla. There were 4 images of the new locale, and in one of them we got a look at what appears to be Nerscylla's nest. In the corner there, you can see an absolute pile of these little creatures. Are those baby Nerszyllas? It's hard to say for sure, but that is what the community's calling them for the moment, so we'll have to wait for an official name. Next for returning monsters, let's talk about Gravios, because that was revealed since my last list and it must be added to this one. Gravios is back, and it has been confirmed that Basirius will not be joining him. Gravios is looking massive though in Wilds, and was revealed in kind of a funny way. IGN was doing that series throughout January, and in their cooking video, they showed this clip where, yeah, Gravios was just on the minimap, and in text on Japanese was Hunter Gravios, so yeah, kind of a funny reveal. Intentional or not, they did follow that up with gameplay that we've got to look at, and we can see that Gravios is taking some of the moveset of Basirius now. For example, it is indeed using poison clouds as well as sleep clouds. It's got some enhanced beam and explosion attacks, and some new mechanics in regards to say what we have with wounds in Wilds. Just as before, you'd break the stomach multiple times to improve the hit zone there. Well, now we have a really nice visual change where you can see the exposed, like, cut down its belly once you've done that. So mechanically, Gravios looks much improved, so it is exciting there too. The last returning new monster is indeed Gore Magala, shown at the end of Trailer 6 in a very surprising way. Our ace lancer, that is the new sort of guild leader commander, Fabius, is in a very similar situation to where he was a long time ago with Gravios, and Gore Magala is replacing it now and slamming down, surprisingly. Strangely, there was a yian there being crushed. We've seen this before with Gore Magala, where he's slammed down on a tigrex. So yeah, lots of references going on. But Gore Magala, didn't expect him. As part of their Twitter spree of information, they talked about Gore Magala with a usual description: a dark eclipse befalls the Forbidden Lands with the return of Gore Magala. But then they go on to say this: how and when this monster will emerge in the Forbidden Lands is for you to discover. We speculate that it might have some interesting lore implications in relation to Arkveld, and of course the whole frenzy mechanic. Hopefully they actually lean into it this time. But those were all the new reveals from Trailer 6 and the new information. I'll also reference the fact that we got Arkveld gameplay properly now. And in that trailer, we got to see him spreading his chains out and splitting them into 4 from 2 during an enrage. Apparently he's sapping the energy from other monsters, and that's empowering him. We get to see the chain blades come out to extend the attacks, aerial leaps and slams, as well as a crazy backflip with the chains involved. The moveset looks really fun, and apparently we're going to get to hunt him soon in beta 2. So very exciting stuff. Those are the new reveals then. Let's run down the list of all the stuff we knew from before with some slight changes. So obviously as new large monsters for the game, we have Arkveld, the flagship, but then the originals we've known about for quite a while: doshaguma, the big bear; chatacabra, the frog; balahara, the new Leviathan type; quematrice, the fire chicken; the apex of the windward plains, we have wraith. Then jumping over to the scarlet forest, we have creatures like lala, barina, and duna. And in the oil well basin, we have the new monsters of Rompompolo, a jarakan, and the newly revealed, at least the name-wise, the Black Flame, new Udra. So of course we're able to add Hirabami to that list, and the unknown Ice Shardcliffe Apex monster. And we should also reference, as usual, that the seikret is indeed a large monster and new for the series, so it deserves that mention. But for returning large monsters, we now have Rathalos and Rathian, with some proper Rathian gameplay teased here and there. Yian, of course, which is a newly pack or herd animal. For the beta, we had Gypsaros revealed, and of course we have Congalala and Gravios too, and now newly Nerscylla and Gore Magala. Quite the monster list now. On the other hand, we have the small monsters of the game. So we have these unknown Nerscylla potential babies, or those little spiders that were shown on the website. And last time we also had 2 small monsters revealed in the oil well basin. From some IGN gameplay, we got the names of them. The Gelidron is the new amphibian, the chunky lizard type. And then there's Cranodath, which are like the new raptor type that have these strange flower-like appendages that they use like a blunt weapon, almost like a hammer. Another cool reveal that happened from the IGN stuff though is the small Leviathan of the Scarlet Forest. We had the name confirmed at last. There's this funny mistake where the community thought a pair of pants meant Legiacrus was confirmed, so IGN were forced to say no, that's not what that is. It's actually a unique pair of pants crafted from that small Leviathan in the Scarlet Forest, and their name is apparently Piragil. Also from last time, we talked about that new wing drake in the Scarlet Forest, the blue one. We weren't quite sure about the name back then. Now I can confirm to you that it's called the Harpios. We saw the name in Japanese, and it was awkwardly translated to just harps. We've since had that properly confirmed then as Harpios. So some cool updates there too. Otherwise, we have the familiar list of small monsters: the conger, the gajau, of course the wudwuds, then the originals like ceratonoth, dalthanodon, balnos, the insect of bullock chi. There's the talinoths that are the new raptor you find in the Windward Plains. There's Gygios, thunderbugs, and of course aptonoth and murnoths, which appear in the base camp as well. So another pretty decent list there for small monsters. The last section, as always, then, is the theory stuff, of which we've not got a lot left now. Firstly, there was a sleep weapon shown on the weapon tree when we got a look at it at a certain point. As I spoke about before then, Gravios does have sleep attacks, and he's now been revealed, so is that his weapon or one of his weapons? It's unlikely, because his old weapons were more tied to physical and maybe fire element, so I'm not exactly convinced it's him, but you know, might as well reference it. Some sort of sleep monster could be revealed at some point, if not. Also, we still have a small monster type that we're expecting, the Conchu. These are hunted by Yian, and Yian has been all over the game, sort of their main prey. We haven't seen them yet, and by now I would think we would have, but you know, maybe at some point. But it's looking less and less likely now. And finally, one monster we need to reference is, because of Gore Magala, Shagaru Magala could come back to the game. Why I don't think that's confirmed or certain, whereas before I would say it is because they've made it clear now in different interviews, just because they're putting a monster in the game, it doesn't mean others linked to it will automatically be in it. So, for example, Gravios and Basarios, we have Gravios, we don't have Basarios, and they highlighted that and said Basarios is specifically not coming. And then they updated the moveset of Gravios to include some stuff from the other monster. If they improve one fight and then don't include the other monster to sort of save a spot, I'm happy with that. But again, it's another one we'll have to wait and see. But that is now our updated list, a pretty hefty one at this point, but as they've told us, there's still more to come. So here's hoping the monster list continues to grow. For now though, I hope this recap has you all caught up, and until next time, I've been Hollow, you've been you, thanks for watching.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.